Liam and Clara had been married for 12 years, a relationship that once felt like a fairy tale, but had gradually settled into the monotony of routine. They had met in their late 20s, brought together shared ambitions, and a love for indie films and hiking. Liam, a reserved, yet thoughtful architect, found comfort in structure, whereas Clara, a freelance graphic designer, thrived on spontaneity. Our differences had once created harmony. Now they felt more like fractures in a fragile foundation. Their 9-year-old daughter Sophie was a brightened, curious child, inheriting Liam's calm demeanor and Clara's artistic flair. Their suburban home was stable. Yet Clara often found herself staring out a kitchen window, wondering when the dull repetition had consumed her. Enter Liliam's promotions at work meant longer hours, while Clara's freelance gigs had dwindled into occasional projects. Their conversations had reduced to groceries and Sophie's school activities, with Lauder becoming nothing more than Emery, tucked away in old photo albums. An evening, over a dinner of reheated pasta, Clara suddenly slammed her fork down. "Do you even see me anymore?" she blurted, her voice trembling. Liam looked up, startled. "What's wrong?" "Everything," she snapped, gesturing toward the cluttered living room. "We're stuck in this cycle. When was the last time we did something that felt like living, not just existing?" Liam frowned, adjusting his glasses. "Clary, I'm trying. Work has always been." She cut in tears, threatening toastful. Meanwhile, Jenna's husband surprised her with a weekend in Paris. "Liam, we haven't even left the state in years," he sighed, running a hand through his thinning hair. "We'll plan something, I promise." But to Claire, promises were just empty words. Meant TOEFL. The silence. 2 weeks later, an invitation arrived, a glossy invite for a rooftop party hosted by Oliver, Liam's old college roommate. Oliver, the eternal Al-Buckler, had just sold his tech startup and was throwing a grand celebration. Liam hesitated. Crowds were never hissing, but Clara's eyes sparkled with excitement. "We're going," she declared. And for the first time in months, Liam caught a glimpse of the woman he had fallen in love with. On the night of that party, Clara slipped into a crimson dress hadn't worn since her anniversary 5 years ago. Liam struggled with his took a moment to admire her. "You look beautiful," he said softly. She smiled, but it didn't reach her as Oliver's Kent house was dazzling, a maze of unfamiliar faces, champing needlewars and expensive decor. At first Clara stayed close to Liam, but as the evening wore on, she gravitated toward a balcony drawn by the city lights. That's where Oliver found her. Clara Hart had greeted her with a grin, still stealing spotlight. "I see," she laughed. The other was an underlying tension. "You've done well for yourself." Luck and Timming shrugged, leaning against a railing. And like Liam, always a steady one. The comment stung. "Steady isn't always enough," murmured Oliver, raised an eyebrow, spoken like someone who's looking for more. The music swelled inside as he extended a hand. "Dance with me." Clara hesitated, then placed her hand in his. Meanwhile, Liam stood in a corner, nursing a beer and watching Clara laugh with Oliver. A tightness gripped his chest. He had never been comfortable in Oliver's world, one of effortless charm and reckless extravagance, and his Claret world, under the fairy lights, her laughter ringing through the air. Liam felt like a ghost in his own life. Midnight. The noise had become overwhelming. He pulled out his phone and sent Clara a text, heading out for air meet. "You at the car?" No reply. Upstairs, in the quiet of Oliver's bedroom, the distant bass of the party thumped like a heartbeat. Clara sat on the edge of the bed, her heels discarded. "This was fun," she admitted, though her voice wavered. Oliver sat beside her. "You don't have to go back to. It's the same old routine." His hand brushed against hers. She didn't pull away. "What if I want more?" she whispered. Oliver's, her slowly, deliberately tasted like rebellion. For a brief moment, guilt flickered in her mind, but it was quickly drowned out by the intoxicating feeling of being wanted again. By the time Liam found her, she was adjusting her earring, the hallway mirror, her cheeks still flushed. "Ready to go?" he asked. She nodded, but something in his gaze lingered. The drive home was silent. Liam wanted to ask, "Who were you with?" "Dad," he simply said. "Sophie's writ competition is tomorrow." Clara stared out the window. The weeks after the party blurred into strained conversations and unspoken accusations. Liam threw himself into work, spending late nights drafting blueprints, while Clara stayed out longer citing client meetings that never seemed a toe appeared on her schedule. Sophie noticed Sita shift. Her once cheerful questions about family movie nights were now met with distant responses, enforced smiles. One afternoon, while folding laundry, Leon found a crumpled receipt in the pocket of Clara's coat, a $300 charge from a boutique hotel downtown dated the night of Oliver's party. His fingers trembled as he turned to her, holding up slip. "What is this?" he demanded. Clara's face went pale, but she met his gaze. "It's a mistake. It's not mine. Don't lie to me." His voice wavered, raw with emotion. She looked away, her silence speaking louder than any confessional levers. Texts flooded her phone, playful emojis. Late night, thinking, few messages. Each notification felt like a grenade. She convinced herself it was nothing more than a distraction, a fleeting escape from the monotony of her marriage. But when Oliver invited her to a gallery opening, she agreed with hesitation. Afterward, they slipped into adamantly lit wine bar as Oliver traced slow circles on her wrist. He murmured, "Yowzer, more than leftovers." "Clara, what wasn't real," she whispered. "Then we'll make it real," he promised, pressing his lips to hers. This time there was no guilt, only the thrill of rooting her story at home. Liam scrutinized her shared calendar, noting unexplained gaps. A pit formed in his stomach. He made a decision that made him sick to his core. He hired a private investigator. A week later, the photos arrived. Clara laughing on a park bench with Oliver, her hand tucked into his coat pocket. Liam stared at the images sentinel, his vision blurred. That night, he sat in the dark, an envelope waiting on the kitchen counter. When Clara walked in and saw it, she froze. "Is this why you've been so distant?" she asked, her voice cold. Liam let out a bitter laugh. "Your eyes does." Down the hall, Sophie's bedroom door creaked open. Clara lowered her voice. "I needed to feel alive again," she whispered. "You stop it, Tring." His voice hardened, and Yao stopped choosing me. The divorce papers came swiftly. Clara moved into a sleek downtown loft Oliver had rented, promising Sophie weekend visits. But the promises faded, reduced to rushed ice cream trips squeezed between livers. Planned Sophie's drawings piled on Liam's fridge, stick figures of 3 people. One always scribbled out to Liver's charm wore off as quickly as it had captivated her. He'd started missing dates, canceling dinners, rolling his eyes when she mentioned Sophie. "Kids ruined." The vibe, he muttered, once tossing back a martini on a rainy evening. Clara showed up, unannounced, at Liam's doorstep, her hair clinging to her face. "Can I come in?" she asked. He blocked it away. "Why, I miss her. I miss you." Liam's jaw tightened. "You don't get Thomas's after throwing us away." Months later, Clara sat alone in her half-empty loft, scrolling through old photographies. Birthdays, Christmas mornings she had taken for granted. Oliver had vanished after a fight about cleanliness. Her hands trembled as she dialed Liam's number. "Sophie's recital is next week," she said. "Maybe we could go together." Like before, silence. Then Liam's voice, steady, firm. "She's moved on, you should too." The line went dead, the finality of it echoing in her ears at Sophie's recital. Clara lingered in feedback, watching as her daughter beamed at Liam from the stage. When their eyes met, Sophie's smile faltered. Clara left before the applause faded. Liam rebuilt. Lowly weekends were spent teaching Sophie to sketch, their laughter filling the once empty spaces of their home. On evening, as they painted her bedroom while a warm sunset orange, she asked, "Does Mom hate us?" Kneeling beside her, Liam gently wiped a smudge of paint from her cheek. "No, kiddo," he said. "She just forget how to love us right." Meanwhile, Clara drifted through dating apps and meaningless encounters. chasing a fleeting high she had mistaken for happiness. But the men were all echoes of Oliver, charming, temporary, incapable of for minutes. On a cold December mornings, stood outside Liam's house, watching the soft curl of smoke rise from the chimney. Sighed, Sophie's mittened hand waved from a window before disappearing, turned away, the weight of her choices settling over her like freshly falling snow, cold, unyielding, and hers alone, to bear in the end the echoes of hut. It drowned her. Liam, however, Lynette'll find music